Hey guys, what's up? This is the boy who had 7. So today's video is about 5 of my favorite comic books in my personal collection, and I'm also going to be throwing in 3 keys that I absolutely love and I think you guys need to pick up here pretty soon. So this video is a comic book contest entry for Comicbags22. Dude, congratulations on the growth. I'm really happy for you. I've got a son that's 15 years old. I hear you're around that age. And it just makes me super happy to see you doing something that you love and sharing your passion with the world. So first off, keep it up, man. Keep going. Really happy for you. Second, thank you for the opportunity. I just won Batcave Comics competition, and it blew my mind. I was so happy. Me and my family were jumping up and down, so that's really cool. But honestly, I do this most importantly for the community. I've got a giveaway going on. Everybody's got giveaways going on. We have to support each other, help each other out. That way we can grow and continue to develop relationships. So thank you for this opportunity. Well, guys, if you're not following Comicbags22, go check him out. This is his information up here. Also, there's a link to this competition in the description down below. Really cool guy. And like I said, he's young, so you got to go support him for sure. So he's asking simple things. Show us 5 favorite comics and 3 keys. So that's what I'm going to do. So comic book number 1. Back in the 90s, I loved collecting football cards. And there was this little shop called J&M Sports. And you could go in there and it was just all full of football, baseball, basketball cards because that was huge in the 90s. And then there was just this little rack with comic books in the back. And I guess he was just getting into it because comics were pretty big back then too. But I turned around and I see this comic book. And it's the very first comic book that I ever purchased with my personal money. And so this is one of my favorite comic books that I own. This is Ghost Rider number 35. And I've shared this story before. I turned around and just saw this art and it blew my mind. And I took it home and probably read this book over 200 times. I would just sit down and read it and then read it again and read it again. And then a couple months later, read it again. I mean, I bought this, maybe I was 9, 10, 11, 12 years old, somewhere around there. But I think this came out in 91, so I think I might have been 8. But anyway, so I mean, super cool. This is one of my favorite comic books, obviously because it's the first one I ever purchased myself. So number 2, back in the 90s, X-Men the Animated Series was huge. I loved the X-Men, and this run is, I mean, this art is some of the coolest art ever. And I loved, like I said, collecting cards. So check this out. This is literally the comic book, another one that I bought back in the day. And there's a little card on it. Look at that. That's so cool. But this is one of my favorite covers ever. Look at this art by Jim Lee. I mean, it just blows me away. He's my favorite artist. Look at Gambit and Wolverine, and then you got Omega Red's hand just like, oh, I mean, it's just so cool. So this is one of my favorite comic books that I own. This is my personal comic book, not in the best condition. I've got a couple of these in really good near mint condition. But this is one that I just love because that art blew me away. And when I think about comics and heroes, this is the art of my youth, and this is what I go to. So I mean, just look at how beautiful that is, okay? Number 3. This is my favorite comic book because it's my favorite comic book couple. And I actually did a video on this book. It was my very first YouTube video earlier this year in January. And but this one right here, Andy Kubert, look at this art. I mean, I absolutely love Rogue and Gambit together. I talked to Chris Claremont at a con here in town, and he said they were never meant to be together. He actually wanted her to be with T'Challa, but Black Panther. But I mean, this is one of my favorite covers ever because of the art and because these two characters are epic. I just love their romance. And if you guys don't know, I'm going to spoil it for you, okay? Close your ears if you don't want to hear anything about them. But they ended up getting married in X-Men Gold number 30 instead of Kitty and Colossus. And it was cheap for me. I was really disappointed because they should have had a huge lead up to their wedding. But now they're married, and there's a new comic book coming out, Mr. and Mrs. X. I think that's what it's called. So this is one of my favorite books because of that art and because of those two characters together. It's the, like I said, the art of my youth. So next, this one right here, you guys have heard about my brother-in-law that passed away and gave me a stack of comic books. This is one of the ones that he gave to me. This is not the specific one he gave to me. I have that one upstairs in a safe place. But he gave me this a copy of Superman 75. And when I read this, you know, there's a lot of people that hate this story and that gave up on Superman after this. But for me as a kid, reading about Doomsday killing Superman, like, it just blew my mind. And when I got back into comic book collecting about 5 years ago, this was the book that I decided to sit down and read again. I hadn't read it since I was a kid again. And I sat down, read it, and it just whet my palate, and it got me into comic book collecting again. And so I have to give this one praise. I love it. This one I'm actually giving away right now as an exclusive Instagram giveaway, so go check that out. And then this is the last one. My brother-in-law gave me this, and this is my favorite comic book story arc of all time, and it is the Infinity Gauntlet book number 1. This storyline, is my favorite storyline. And this book, I mean, you guys have seen the movie. We've still got a year of build up to what's going to happen next with Thanos, his Infinity Gauntlet, and all that. I was talking with Reggie Simmons and Thanatos on their live show the other day, and we were talking about pronouncing things incorrectly. You know, like Ethan Van Sciver or Van Sciver, the way people are always messing up there. I used to pronounce this Thanos because that's just how I read it all the time. And then when I heard Gamora in the what's it called? Oh, I'm going blank here. In the movie, she's like Thanos. I was like, oh, okay, I've been pronouncing it wrong this whole time, so I've switched over, but it's always Thanos to me. But yeah, so this is my favorite comic book because this is my favorite story arc. Jim Starlin. And I just love his writing. The resurrection of Thanos, which is in the Silver Surfer books. I mean, it's just so good. So I love this book. So those are the 5 books that are my favorite for certain reasons. And you can ask me on a different day, and I'll have 5 different favorite books. But that's what I wanted to share with you today, Comicbags22. So next thing he asked is show 3 keys. And because Ghost Rider was the first book that I bought and fell in love with, I obviously love Ghost Rider. And my second son, third child, like I have 7, guys, remember that. Him and I read Ghost Rider together. And so just recently, a guy on Instagram gave me an awesome deal on this key book. And it is Marvel Spotlight number 5. I literally got this book for under $500 what it's worth. And so, I mean, I jumped at it, picked it up. This is a huge key because it's the first appearance of Johnny Blaze Ghost Rider ever. So, you guys, we're going to see him one of these days in the MCU. This book's not super hot right now. It's still affordable. I would pick this up if I were you. All right, key number 2. This one is important right now because of the Infinity Gauntlet, or excuse me, the Infinity War movie. This is the first appearance of Thanos, okay, or Thanos, like we were talking earlier. This is Iron Man 55, and he was created by Jim Starlin, and he's not on the cover. That's Drax the Destroyer, the Blood Brothers, but this is the first appearance of Thanos, Mentor, Drax the Destroyer, Star Fox, Kronos, and the Blood Brothers. So this is a really important book to have. I'm really happy about it. I don't know if it's going to go up anymore or down. I mean, we've seen Thanos, and you know what I mean? Like, this book is kind of holding steady. I've seen a couple people with a 9.8. I really wanted to trade with one of the guys, but the other books that I have, I don't want to give them away, and that's one of the next one I'm going to show you. So, super important book to have. If you can find this out in the wild or find it for a good price, pick it up, because this will always be a good book to have. So, the last key that I'm going to show you guys, and this one is one of my favorite books that I own. I say that about all of them. But this one is the Fantastic Four number 48. I showed this in when I picked it up in one of my one of my hauls. But this is the first appearance of Galactus and the Silver Surfer. So, I mean, it is so cool. With Disney buying the Fox rights to the Fantastic Four, we are going to see Galactus, we are going to see the Silver Surfer, we're going to see the Fantastic Four, and it's going to be excellent because the MCU, the Marvel Cinematic Universe, is awesome. Look at the movies that they've made in the last 10 years. It has been epic, and I love it, and I cannot wait for it to continue. So this is a book that's really, really hot. If I can find this one in a 9.0, 9.2, I'm definitely picking it up. And but you guys, if you can find this one, get it, because the prices are just going up, and as soon as we see these characters done right, this book's gonna be crazy. So that is another key for you that I wanted to share with you today. So Comicbags22, thank you, man, for this cool competition. Everybody go sub him up. Check out his giveaway. Check out his channel. Support this young fellow. So thank you guys. As always, please like this video. Subscribe to my channel. Don't forget my huge Superman giveaway. And as always, thanks for watching. I'll talk to you later.